All right, so uh, just before we kind of get started officially, I just want to kind of test out the sound and the connection and everything. So let me know in the chat that that you can hear me properly and that you can see everything clearly, and that there's no problem with any tech whatsoever before I really get started. Please let me know in the chat. Can you hear me properly? You can please let me know in the chat. I think everything is fine from my side. Sounds good to you. Okay, cool. So, hi there, Norris. My days has been going well. How about you? I mean, my day just, just just finished now. It's evening here, but yeah, it was a good date for me. What about you? Okay, video looks good. That's nice. All right. So, hi guys, welcome to the fifth episode of the SEO live show, in which I kind of do two things primarily. That is, the first part is where I go through the latest news of what news in SEO, and from last week up until today, and also in the in the next part of this live show, I'll kind of go through the I kind of go through your live Q&A the live Q&A, right? The live questions and answers, as well as a quick SEO audit. If you wish to have your site, to get audited, might be like a 30,000 foot view, right? Okay, so I think some of the people have started joining. Norris says you must have a delay in your chat. Yep, definitely. I mean, there's I think about 15 to 20 seconds delay in the chat, and when I see your chat and when after you type in. So I assume it's a YouTube glitch. I mean, or not glitch. It's just maybe how they have designed it. So I mean, some people say Twitch is much faster, about I think 10 seconds or so. So we just have to kind of go with it. Yes, YouTube is just like that. Q said, "What's up, SEO King?" I'm great. I'm great. Q, how are you? By the way, I'm not SEO King, but it's just what I like and what I love. So yeah. Okay. So shall I get started with the today's news? What's new in SEO before we kind of get dive into the Q&A section? Please let me know in the chat that you are ready for today's episode. Yeah. All right. Cool. So this week's news is not that interesting, but still. Okay, so this is the today's news, right? So this is where I get my news from, seroundtable.com. You can also check the site out. This is one of the best, probably the best SEO news site out there, and it is run by the guy called Barry Schwartz. He's like a, like a search, one of the oldest guy who has been in the SEO industry forever, and he runs this website, right, where he writes pretty much about anything related to search engines, primarily on Google, right? So start off with the week. Right around in the weekend, we had there seems to be an unannounced ranking update, right? So if you any of your site or any of your rankings saw drops or increased, it may be due to this update, right? I also saw a little bit of movement there as well, although not much from some of the sites that I'm managing right now. But yeah, if you've seen any increase or drops in the rankings, It's probably due to the update. Um, it's probably due to the update. Okay, so next news is that Google just recently updated their core web vitals and page experience FAQ. So if you check out the news, they have the documentation right on the core web vitals, which basically they're gonna be using it in May 2021 as a ranking factor. So they have kind of updated their document, right? So you can maybe go through it. I don't think there's anything much fancy here. It's just mostly for beginners that are kind of new to this field. So you may try and want to check it out. And this is an interesting news. You see, if anyone who joined me last week would remember that I kind of spoke about this rumor where Google, seems to be testing showing 2 packs for the Google My Business listing instead of 3, right? So the Google My Business listing, there are 3 listings, right, for the search results there. And from last week, I heard a rumor that they were kind of testing on showing 2 listings instead of 3. And now it is kind of official now that many of the like more SEO experts kind of have seen this as well. So this was reported by an SEO called Joy Hawkins, which is one of the famous local SEO experts, where she reported this, tweeted this on Twitter, and Barry Schwartz, the guy who runs this website, picked it up and reported it here. Interestingly, I reported this exactly 1 week ago. Okay, so you can pretty much rely on my news, right? Like I actually saw this first in Facebook group, and then I reported to you last week, and then just today it is kind of officially reported here. So it is an interesting move here, right? Which I kind of explained that it may be due to the reason that Google may want to display more ads and reduce the organic reach from this. So it's an interesting news. So next up, and actually, besides from these, last week there were not really much of a thing, really. So let me kind of go through some of the old stories. Um, okay. So there's a nothing much really. So yeah, I mean, besides from the last week news, aside from what I just reported, there don't seem to be anything special. I mean, last week we had a lot of news. So if you missed the last week episode, maybe you want to check it out. I report a lot of news really. So I think that's pretty much it for all the important news that you kind of need to know. And so we'll get back to the live Q&A section and also the site audit. All right, so we seem to have a couple of chatters going on here in the chat. And David says, good morning, David. Norris says, I can give you a site to audit if you want. Um, sure, Norris, if you want me to do it, I mean, definitely I can do it for you, not a big deal. I mean, I don't normally have many viewers who kind of give sites for auditing. So you can definitely leave your site. All right, so let's get started with the Q&A section, shall we? So the first question, let me kind of get to DJ Norris' question first. So Norris asked in a Facebook group where he's a member of, right? So he basically joined my course, and he's now in the Facebook group for my student. And there he asked, that why he saw certain like some of the keyword he had in search console, why it is showing him ranking number 1, whereas when he go to the search result and he did a search for those keyword, he didn't find even the top 10. Well, that is probably because that those keywords are associated with your Google My Business, right? And in search console they also report your Google My Business ranking as well. So that's why, let's say you run a web design company, say let's say Web Design Toronto. let's say in the Google My Business, you're ranking in the top three spots, right? In the top three in the listing there, that will be reported as number one rankings, right? So if you rank in the top three in the Google My Business for that keyword for your listing, but not your website, Google will show your average position as being number one, stuff like that. This is what I've seen normally, but again, I would kind of have to look into the details again. But really, there's really no, like, it's not really a search console glitch or anything. I mean, this is what I've seen in most cases. Is basically reporting the Google My Business ranking there. So maybe if if maybe if you share more details, I might be able to point out more. But generally, it is just like that. Google My Business keyword ranking. So maybe I hope that makes sense to you. Maybe if you can give me more details on that, I um, might be able to point that out. All right, so DJ Norris gave me a site to review, a quick audit. So let's have a look. Before I start with the audit, just let me know that you're clear with my answers. So I'll move on to the site audit thing. And for any of you there, if you have any questions, you just leave in the chat here. I'll come back and answer all of them. I'll try to answer all of them. Obviously, I can do it, I think, because we don't really have many viewers here. So sure. David asks, if I compare my website to them, they have much more content on every page. Because of that, is it possible to beat them and rank higher? Well, you're saying that your competitors have more content than yours, and you're asking, is it possible for you to beat them? Well, David, they're like, you know they're like, I mean, to rank a page, there are like thousands of things, right, that kind of contributes to the rankings. Word, first of all, word count, or how many content your page has, is not a ranking factor. So this is like a biggest one of the biggest SEO myths out there. So don't, like, don't really don't really kind of take that into considerations. Secondly, is it possible for you to beat and rank higher? I mean, definitely you can do it if you have a better content than them, if you have better links, and if you have better, signals than them, right? Like, or all other signals. So if you can be a little bit more specific to your questions, and I should be able to answer better there. Nasib asked, can you suggest some local SEO tips for GMB posts? GMB post, you mean the post where you can make the post in Google My Business? Is that correct? I'm not sure the question. Or you're just asking for general GMB rankings. Um, so yeah. Q asks, did you ever use SEO for an e-commerce store? How was the experience? Yeah, for sure. I mean, you must have seen my videos. I have a couple of videos on SEO for e-commerce store. The experience was good. I mean, although I don't do it extensively, but it's, at the end of the day, it's pretty much the same like what you would do for any other type of website, right? But just for the, basically, the focus would be more on the product category page and product page, whereas for normal website would be on service page, right, or blog page. So those are basically the primary difference there. Okay, so I'll come back to all of your questions again. Let me kind of do a quick side audit for my friend here, DJ Norris. So let's open up here. I'll come back to all of your questions again. So this is Mr. DJ Norris website, and So the keyword you kind of try to go after here is web design in Maryland, right? Is that correct? I would assume that is the keyword you want to rank for since it is in the title tag there. And first here, this is your title. This is your heading tag. I think H1 tag it is. So first here, if you kind of want to optimize, so let me kind of do here. Okay, let me see what is this. This is your H2. Okay, no problem. I assume this would be your H1. All right. Okay, so let me see how many times you mentioned Maryland here. Pretty less, only once there. I think your homepage, like without really going to more details, is pretty like pretty lightweight when it comes to keyword optimization or how targeted your page is. I would advise you to re-optimize your homepage again for the main keyword you want to rank for here. It seems to be very lightweighted. There don't seem to be enough mentions for the main keyword you want to rank for here. But apart from that, the design looks good. It looks easy to kind of go through it, and that would makes a good that would be a good user experience as well. Even the site speed, I think the site speed loads pretty good. Like I'm here in in Thailand right now, and you must be located in Canada. Still, it loads pretty fast. And so these are your services. I assume web design. Okay, so let me go back here. So can you let me know which page you want to rank? Is it your web design page or is it your home page? Because if you want to rank your web design page here, but your home page also kind of talks about it here as well, you see there may be some the competition may be going on right between your web design page and your home page. So if you want to rank this page, I'd suggest you to make this page to be, just a simple brand page, right? But basically where you just talk about your brand and what you do, the service you offer, stuff like that. And also rename your title tag to just be like, best digital marketing agency in Maryland, or, best agencies in Maryland, stuff like that. And just talk about, your brand, right? So this would represent your brand, and go heavy on the page you want to rank for. The goal here is you don't want to have many pages competing for same or similar keywords. And so let me go check here so I can know which page you want to rank for. Okay, Norris, if you let me know which page you want to rank for, that would be great. And okay, but yeah, that was a thing that I was kind of talk about here. Even this page, even still, if you still want to optimize for this page to rank, it is still very lightweighted when it comes to keyword, right? I would advise you to look into the keyword optimization again and check your page, right, your on page. And SEO, okay. And also remember, like, so you have SEO page here, that's great. SEO Maryland, okay, having keyword there, that's good. And also here SEO. Okay, this is also another thing that you kind of want to fix here, is that let's say for this keyword you want to rank for SEO in Maryland, right? When you write the content for any of your page, you should really start diving into the meat of the content, right? Like, don't just write for the sake of word count. Like here, here you write about what is SEO, and then you write about search engine optimization truths, right? I mean, obviously these are pretty much like basic knowledge that most of the people who does a search for this already have enough knowledge on it, right? Like, he doesn't want to know what is SEO, or he or she doesn't want to know what is the truths behind engine optimizations. You should really start getting right into the meat of the thing that you offer here. So here, instead of what is SEO, I would start writing, like maybe number one, SEO service in Maryland, right? Like make sure your heading tags are properly optimized for the keyword, and then start explaining about the service you offer in Maryland. You may talk about some of these general knowledge as like a small introduction, some kind of like that. But you should get to the meat as quickly as possible, right? Like you shouldn't write all these all these general knowledge that most of the people would probably already know about. This is also one of the biggest mistakes which I've seen. Most of the beginners do is that they just want to write to kind of cover the word count, if that's the thing. So these are kind of like my two biggest recommendation is number one, don't try to have multiple pages that competing for the same or similar keywords. And secondly, and don't just write for the sake of word count. Dive right to the meat, make it properly optimized, make it fully focused on the keyword you want to rank for, and that should help it better. Also, don't forget internal linking, right? So if you talk about SEO, you might want also to link to your web design page, right, which is kind of similar or on the same topic, stuff like that. So yeah, so these are like kind of my quick overview here. Maybe if I can check your index so I can then know. um all right. Okay, so you seem to have multiple landing page for different cities as well. This also another thing, right? For that many people does a mistake here. You should also make sure you internal link from any of your main page, right? I would advise it to be your home page since you want to. Maybe if you don't to rank want to rank for it, make it your home page, and somewhere here you should link to your service city page, right? City page, other city page. Don't just make those pages situated nowhere, right? Like it should also get some internal link. It should also get some juice from some of the main pages on your website as well, and that should help other city pages rank better as well. You can also create one page called a service area page, and then on that page you have all of the city links there, right? Make sure it is somehow easily reachable, right, from any of your main pages or the menu or the footer, stuff like that. So yeah, these are my kind of like top overview recommend top overview audit on the site. Definitely look into the course again. In my course, I think I pretty much go into details on on all of these. But again, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them here or post in the group later on as well. I hope that helps you. And so yeah, all right, let me kind of get back to the questions. And so we seem to have lots of questions here. Okay, so let me see, where did I miss? Um, okay, so let me come back to Nasib question first. So he was asking some tips on local for local SEO, right, when it comes to ranking Google My Business. So really, there are like three main categories of ranking factors for Google My Business. So first is what do you say? Proximity, or the area from where the searcher is to your Google My Business listing, basically where you verify your post, right? So that is the first category. Second category is relevance, how relevant your listing is to the searcher queries. And third is prominence, or how popular or how authoritative your listing is, right? So let's look at proximity first. Proximity is basically the location or the distance, right, from where your listing is to the searchers. Now this is one of the big most difficult thing to manipulate, right, because it is basically where you verify your business, right? So you can't really change the proximity here, but what you can kind of manipulate here would be relevance and prominence. So relevance is how relevant your listing is to the keyword. So what you can do to increase relevance here, first is obviously having keyword in your Google My Business name there, right? I mean, if your business doesn't contain the keyword, I would advise you to maybe consult with your client to kind of change their business name. I mean, assumingly it is a new business, right? Stuff like that. But having a keyword in a business name is one of the biggest ranking factors you can do there. So you can kind of consult with your client, ask them to change their business, have a keyword there, so that when Google suspends your listing, they'll ask for documents, right? And if you submit that legal document that yes, we have a keyword in our business name, that will help prove it, right? But again, if you don't want to do that, you can obviously risk having your keywords there. But just keep in mind that you can get suspended at any time. Apart from that, make sure all of the details are fully filled up properly. All the descriptions, all the phone numbers, stuff like that, make sure they're properly filled up. Also, make sure you post your Google My Business post regularly as well, right? So this also helps increase the relevance score. So next is the prominence, how popular or how authoritative your listing is. Now, when it comes to prominence, it is kind of tied to your website. So the website where you connect your Google My Business to, the position of that website also hugely affect the Google My Business listing. So if you rank well for your website, your Google My Business also will likely to increase its ranking as well. Apart from that, making sure that you have a consistent NAP, name, address, phone number throughout all the web properties, that will help a lot. Also getting good reviews, good mentions on across the web on places like Yellow Pages review, city specific directories reviews. Those will also help increase your authority of the listing as well. Apart from that, you might also go for something like Cid linking, right, where you link to your Cid. And if you don't know what is it, I actually have a video on that CID. Just search in the YouTube channel, Tech Jackies Google My Business CID. I explain that, and also embed your listing map in the Web 2.0s, right, and link back to your Google My Business. So all these activities will help increase the authority of your Google My Business listings. So these are probably like the top tips that I have here on the top of my mind. Obviously, there are more to it, right? Where we can just talk for like for an hour or something. But so these are some of the biggest things there. Okay, so I hope that answers your questions. Um, Loco said, "I would love to see your regular Instagram posts again. They're very useful." Yeah, probably I would go back to Instagram, but like I'm on like I'm mostly active on Facebook, but also nowadays I'm also on Discord as well. So I try to keep these channels minimal as possible, so I don't want to go to different channels, right, like different social medias. I'll look into it again. I might go back to Instagram. Even Twitter, I also abandoned it quite some times now. So yeah. But again, if you want to kind of follow me, you can do it on Facebook. That is where I'm most active on. So, and where I usually post as well. Skillf asked, "Hi, recently I found that keyword around 8 to 10. My website ranking was ranking in the top 15. And yesterday, all the keywords were not even in the top 100. Why? So, what's the reason for sudden change?" Well, Skillf, there was a ranking um, there was an algo updates from the in the past weekend, so maybe it was due to those updates. I would suggest you to maybe wait for maybe a day or two, and then let's see what happens to those keywords. I mean, there are all kinds of reasons why that could happen, but the biggest one is obviously algo updates, their algorithm updates. And Norris says, "I'll double check those. Thanks. Then we do have service page more important." Okay, sure. Norris again said, "What if I end up with dozen of landing pages?" Sure, you can end up with dozen of landing pages, but make sure that they're somehow kind of unique to some extent. You would want to kind of make it about 50% unique, right? You can obviously copy from other pages, but make sure it's at least 50% unique, and that should do a job. And also, properly optimized, like what I mentioned there. Local asks, "Do clients always get a positive ROI when they invest in SEO?" Well, yeah, of course. If number one, you select the right market, like some industry, obviously, won't get much of a biggest impact, right? Because let's say their price of service or their price of product is comparatively very low, right, from what they would get off SEO. But let's say in certain industries such as home service, right, where the cost per conversion is really high. Let's say you get one client for one roofers, that would probably cost him like something around $2,000 to $3,000 per client, right? So that already kind of paid off their bills there, right? Their SEO bills there. So obviously they would want to subscribe for your service more, right? If number one, you can do your service well, and you can obviously bring them consistent leads, and number two, obviously it makes sense for the industries. So does it always get positive ROI? Well, not all in all industries, I would say that. So you have to kind of look into the industry again. David asked or say, I discovered that every product from my client e-commerce website have duplicate content, and I can find the same text on every product on other stores offering products of my clients. Is it a big deal? uh okay, let me kind of go through that. That every product from my client e-commerce website duplicate content, and I can find the same text of every product on other stores. I mean, it may be a huge deal there if other people are copying your product description or content there, and if they have a better authority than yours, if they're basically seen as an authoritative website or important website in Google's eyes, then yeah, obviously that's a big problem for your rankings for sure. You might want to look into something like DMCA notice, or to kind of maybe look into some legal thing that you can combat here. But yeah, you shouldn't you shouldn't let anyone copy your website, your content. Even though if they did, you should always make sure that your content is being seen as an expert or being seen as the most authoritative to Google. Otherwise other people can definitely outrank your site. I mean, I've seen this all the times, that people go to John Mueller's hangout almost every week or so and complain that some people copy their content and now they're ranking above them. And what John Mueller always says is that there is some problem with your website, not their website. So I think you have to kind of look into this and judge out which whether or not their website is seen as a better source of content. Skillef asked, what do you think? How many blog posts should a blog publish in a month? Well, I don't think there's really like fixed number here. Like some people publish like just once in a month, but they really go deep into it. Whereas some people, publish like almost regularly and they kind of not really focused. So I would say it depends on your capacity there, and also how much you can, put into it, right? If you can publish like 10 really good piece of content, then definitely, yeah, you can definitely go for it. I mean, there's really no fixed number that Google really looks at anyway. So it depends really on your capacity there. So let me see here. Uh, okay, so David sent his client website and say that not even one keyword in the top 10. Any recommendations? Yeah, I mean, David, I think I had a look at your site, I think a couple of days back, and what I already told you is really what really those are, right? I mean, I think one of the biggest thing is probably backlinks, where I think you don't really have much, but your competitors do have. And besides from that, I think since it is in a Polish language, right, is a Polish language, I think your domain name is like a PMD or partial match domain, I think, where it contains the keyword. So you know and apart from that, I don't think like I think you also ranking number 3 for your brand name, right? So I think one of the biggest reason there is probably the backlinks issues where you kind of lack there. But apart from that, I would really maybe look into the content again and see the quality of the content, right? I mean, I can't read Polish, right? So I can't really recommend you on that. But I think there seems to be certain quality issues with your website as well. Although I'm not quite sure, because I think it's quite a complicated case here. Maybe I have to look into like a more detailed audit, right? But from my quick overview, I think there seems to be a certain quality issues going on either with the content or the site. Maybe the site has some issues in the past, right? Maybe someone did something to the site, or I'm not sure. Maybe someone copied the site, like what you mentioned, and now they're ranking well better than you. Then Google might see your site as being duplicated, right? I mean, there's certain seems to be certain quality issues there. I'm not sure. Have to really dig into it. But I think the biggest thing is probably the backlinks for sure. David says, yeah, brand name is ranked number one now. Okay, that's good. I mean, you should always rank number one for your brand name no matter what. That is, I mean, if you don't rank number one for brand name, at least in the top two, like one or two, then there's a bigger problem there. Nasib said, Great tips, keep rocks." You're welcome. I hope that answers your questions. Harjot said, "Hola." Hola, Harjot. So yeah, I think I've gone through all the submitted questions here. If you have any more new questions, you can definitely leave in the chat. So if any of you want me to repeat any of the answers, you can let me know again. I think I've explained well enough for all of them, but yeah, let me know here. Ooh, so today we seem to have more questions than usual. I mean, that's good. Because I mean, last week we didn't really have many where many people actually joined. So today that's good. We have a couple of more new, some two new people. I think two new people we have today, or three. I think yeah, three new people we have today. So that's good. Whoa! And today we already have 9 likes there. Whoa, that's great. Even prior to the live being ended. So today live stream looks fresh, guys. Awesome. So I have about 20 to 30 more minutes here. Roughly about 20 minutes. Yeah. So um, let me know the questions. Skillev said or asked, yeah, ask comment versus Web 2.0 profile. Which one do you prefer? Uh, I prefer profile. Because profile you can at least get links from like good profiles, right? Like good legit profile from certain websites. Like they're like I think like TEDx they also allow you to create a user profile there, right? And also have a link back to your site. I'm not sure. I don't remember if they allow link back to your site or not, but TEDx is a very authoritative site, right? So you can definitely do that. Comment I think is pretty like is probably the worst there because nowadays it's quite difficult to find good place to comment, right? Most of the web owners they switch off their comments entirely, so that's the thing there. And Web 2.0s, Web 2.0, I think they kind of get really difficult to index as well. So I mean, certain some of them are quite good, like Google Sites, bloggers, and maybe Wix, Weebly. All those like the top ones are still good enough. But apart from that, I don't really go for anything else with Web 2.0s. I think profile is probably my choice here. David said, "Yeah, every product content is duplicated. My client is distributor of honey, so he just sent the same content for a few e-commerce stores. 4 to 5 stores have the same content. Maybe there's a problem." Yeah, it's likely the problem. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if your clients already have like 5 websites and all the 5 are pretty much the same content, definitely Google will find it a hard time to rank which one, right? So Google might decide to choose one of the sites to rank well and the remaining to just to just get filtered off, right? I mean, I used to like I used in my lazy days I used to kind of copy content from others and Yeah, 100% copy paste, and I find it always get filtered. And whenever I modify the content to make it a bit more unique, at least about 50 or 60% unique, I just find, it shot up to the first or second page, or to where it's supposed to be. So I think this is probably the reason for sure. Yeah, you can maybe look into that. And maybe look into other sites, right? Other sites of your client, and see which one actually ranks well. So if one of them, or at least one or two of them actually rank well for the same keyword, then definitely some of other clients, some of other websites, including the one you're managing right now, could probably get filtered. So yep, I hope that answers the questions. Skillev said yes, TEDx has a link in bio section. Yeah, that's the thing there. And getting links from these top profile sites, it's pretty much, they're like pretty much easier to get indexed also. So, but again, like I said, some of the web 2.0s are still good, like Google sites, still pretty quick in getting indexed. Bloggers are also quite fast as well in getting indexed. But again, these web 2.0s are like new website, new page, so they might not have enough power to kind of push your rankings there, compared to profiles where they already kind of have like certain authority from its parent site. David asks, what do you think about review widget? Some websites have like 5,000 words on every page because of that. um you can have them. It's a good thing to kind of show to your customers, like people who come to the site, and see that you have some good genuine reviews there. But if you want to kind of only do it for word count, or to have more number of words, then I wouldn't recommend it. And also, I mean, you don't really have to do it anyway, because if it is not a real review, of course. If it is a fake review, obviously I don't recommend faking your reviews, unless you want to do it anyway. So yeah, I would say focus on better in writing normal content, rather than like embedding reviews just for word counts. David says, Thanks for explanation, really good live." You're welcome, David. You are welcome to join this live on every Wednesday at the same time, that is 9:30 a.m. EST time zone, right? So you're welcome to join the live on every Wednesday. I'll try to go live on every Wednesday like this, unless if I'm stuck with certain work, or if I'm stuck with something, then I might not be able to do it, which I will maybe announce it first in the Facebook group, that I might not be able to do it on certain week, but most probably I'll do it, and at the same time like this. So yeah, we have about 15 more minutes. If you have any more questions, you can always let me know in the chat, or if you have any site that you might like me to do a quick audit on, that is also possible as well. All right, already we've got 15 likes now. Whoa. Thank you so much, guys, for giving the likes. I mean, that's a good thing, right? Seeing like good likes there. Okay, so um Any more questions? Let me know in the chat. Okay, so Norris asked, I'm trying. Okay, so now we have more questions. Okay, so Norris asked, I'm trying to do citations on super pages and white pages. All right, I know. Okay, but I always get asked to use Yext. Is there a way to enter my business info without having to pay that service? Um, Unfortunately, I don't think you can do it. I mean, certain citations only accept they only accept the listings from their partners. So I would afraid that you kind of have to go with Yext. Otherwise, if you don't want to pay for Yext, there are like certain vendors out there that already kind of subscribe to Yext, and they would do it for you in their package. So one of the biggest vendors out there is Web20 Rankers. You can check them out. They have lots of white label SEO service. Web20 Rankers, they do have a citation service there, and they also offer providing your listing to all these Yext and Info Loco and all these what do you say, data aggregators. So um, feel free to check it out. But otherwise, I don't think there's anything you can do without paying for some sort of a service there. But I recommend you to have your listing get listed on super page and white pages. They're really valuable ones, and they're one of the top citations that Google really looks at anyway in most places. I mean white pages, like for instance, they also have services in Australia, in UK, I think. In the US, of course, they do have. So in pretty much in every country, they're pretty like one of the biggest ones. So make sure you get it listed out. David asks, do you have like game changer tip? Like the best thing to do if you want to rank very fast. Um, Really the best, I don't think there's anything like the I mean the best game changer tip. But what I can say here is what do you say? So what I can say here is to maybe look into I'm not sure if it's going to help it fast or not. I mean, this would depends on how much effort you're putting into it. But if you really want the best ranking, I would say look into something like a brand building thing, right? Like promoting your business out there in social media, in forums, etc., etc. Generate that buzz around your business all over the internet, and also makes people come to your website on Google search. Like make sure that you have consistent brand signals that people search for your brands, and that is probably the biggest ranking signal right now. But I'm not sure how much effort you can put into building that, into building your brand. So for some people, it could be very fast. They can easily instantly generate that brand signals, but for most people, it could take like years. So yeah, when it comes to biggest ranking signal, that is obviously the biggest one in my opinion right now. The brand signals and the buzz generation about around your business, the traffic and stuff like that. But how fast you can execute it, that I think it depends on you, how much work you put in there. Skillev said, "Hey Jackie, how these tools, website like BMI calculator, calorie counter, and scientific calculator do SEO? How the top ranking sites beats millions of other sites?" Uh, are you asking me like how does the tool website ranks their content or rank their website? I assume that's the questions. Maybe if you can explain me a bit more, I might be able to understand it better. David said or ask, yeah, ask. Do you think that linking in forums to my website is a good thing to do? Most links are no follow these days. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, if you're linking it from a good, good forums that actually have real active users, and also some of your target customers or people, or target people who would be interested in your product or service, actually active there in the forums, then sure, you can definitely do it. It helps drive traffic. I mean, it helps drive create a brand awareness. No follow or do follow, that's another thing, right? Like I said, backlinks, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, traffic and user signals and brand signals is the biggest ranking factors right now. Even if it is no follow, still backlinks and no follow backlink would still give you some value anyway, if it's coming from a good legit good legit forum. So if it's a good one, then definitely you can do it, and I strongly recommend you to do it as well. Okay, so yeah, skill F, that's what I'm asking, how these sites master SEO. For these tools, right, for these tool sites, so Google understands the search intent, right? So they understand what people are looking for when they do a search for, let's say, BMI calculator, or calorie counter, stuff like that. So Google knows that people want to want a page that has, number one, less word count, number two, that has certain type of embed or JavaScript on the page, and number three, it should follow like certain structure, right? Let's say they have like a inbox where you can enter the weight, or you can do some calculation stuff like that. So Google is pretty smart at reading the content on the page, and it know exactly what type of content users want. So these type of pages, they obviously rank number one because of they serve the right thing, the right intent, right, for their page. So if someone does a search for calorie counter, obviously they already have that tool on their page. They don't have to write much of a word count. Obviously they will have to still write some words so Google can understand what the page is really all about. But at the end of the day, so yeah, so Google understands search intent. Apart from that, these tool pages or website also get lots of links, right? So lots of links, and with the maybe anchor text as well also plays a part there. And also, of course, if someone does a search for let's say calorie counter, and if people keep on visiting a certain page or certain website regularly, then that also is a brand signal, right? It's a traffic signal, it's a click signal there. So that really reinforce Google that yes, this is the right type of page. this is a this is the right type of page for this query, and this is the right type of structure of the page for this queries, and also all the backlinks that kind of support it as well. So it kind of goes like like different components, different parts playing together. Hope that makes sense. Really, I mean, may not be a little bit easy to understand, but yeah, mostly it has to do with search intent or the page intent, the structure of the page, how the page is being laid out, and also the links, and also the click signals and others, stuff like that. Norris says, gotta go, thanks for everything. Sure, you're welcome for that. So yeah, skill F, that was my answer. I hope that clears that answers your questions. So it's pretty much like that much only, right? Like knowing, like serving the correct type of page, right? And page, and also all other signals around it. So about 5 more minutes. If you have any more questions, you can let me know in the chat. Otherwise, um, after this live chat, you can also ask more questions in the comment section as well. So this video, after this live session is over, it would probably be available on YouTube publicly next day, that is tomorrow. So yeah, you can go ahead and ask the question there in the comment section, and I'll answer them. Uh, David asked, any tips on how to avoid bad links that can harm my website instead of boost? You don't have to worry about bad links, really, David. Google is pretty good at ignoring bad links. So and also all most of the negative SEO really, they understand the patterns, right? And anyway, most of the backlinks are ignored, right? Almost not about 90% of all the links on the internet are ignored by Google. So the chances are, if you already know that that links is bad, and if it's already kind of clear enough that the links is bad, then you don't really have to worry about anything. I mean, there's obviously no way you can avoid getting links, right? Like there's no way to kind of stop your page from being linked to by other page, and but you don't really have to worry about it at all. Just focus on your site, and that's pretty much it. Unless you really build those links, and you know and but yeah, don't really have to think much about it. Just stay calm and continue with the work on your site. Skillup says, yeah man, Google is Google. Yeah, obviously, I mean, as a AI, right? Or machine learning. So obviously they have like billions, I think trillions, right? Yeah, they have trillions of pages in their index to kind of look at and understand, right, for different queries. So obviously they have all the data they need already. That's why they understand what are the type of pages that people are looking for, what are the things that people are looking for a particular queries. Obviously for certain queries they might not be perfect, but they're always constantly learning, right? And that is what machine learning is all about, constantly learning and adapting, of course. David said, oh okay, I just wanted to make sure because I really want to build some links in forums, but I was so scared of that. I mean, like forums links are pretty much ignored anyway, unless it's coming from a very good source of a very good website, right? I mean, all the forums, profiles, web 2.0s, right, comments, all these like 20 20 like 2000 type of links that people can easily build are mostly ignored anyway by Google. So but of course, I'm not saying that they're invaluable. They can somehow help you for for low competition keyword, or to give you some small amount of boost, right? But if they're really coming from a good genuine website, good really good forums, really good profiles, then definitely they can help you up to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, the best type of links would be links coming from in the body of the content, coming from a real legit running websites that have traffic, and the content or the site actually, or both, are related to your content, right? So some of the best links would be links from guest posts, links um, from the sites in your niche, stuff like that. So those are the type of links. You can remember it like this: like the harder it is to get a link, the more valuable the link is. That is probably like the biggest tip that I can give you, is that the harder it is to get a link, the more valuable it is. And if it is easy for you to get links, then it's pretty much like ignored or invaluable probably to Google. So that's the tip of the day really. And also Google is pretty much like they're really forgiving if you understand it carefully, or if you've seen Google, they're really forgiving. So even if you build like thousands of low quality forum links, they would pretty much won't do anything to you, like it won't even harm you really. So yeah, don't be afraid. I mean, you can go ahead and build it out and see how it goes for your website. If it helps, then definitely you can use it, but try to kind of mix in, right? Like not just forum links. Initially you might want to go with forum links because they're easy to get, but later on you might want to get better quality links, right? Like what I just mentioned, guest posts and all kind of those. And also you don't really have to spend much on links really. you just have to spend like on a few good ones, and those will really give you everything that you need. And remember, like, traffic and brand signals and all those buzz generations, those are like the biggest ones right now. So if you don't want to spend money on links, you have to kind of spend on that way. So it depends on how you strategize for your campaign. So I guess that's the end for the live stream. Maybe if you shoot me one more questions, I might answer them. I might answer it like maybe to be the last question for the day. Otherwise, that's the end of the today's live stream. So yeah, well, we got lots of questions today. That's good. All right. So I guess there's no more questions from your side. So I guess that's the end for the day. So yeah, thank you all of you for joining the live stream and asking questions, also engaging today. I had lots of fun answering the questions. And if you want to join this live stream again, I'm live on every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. EST time zone. So make sure you jump in next week. And all right, so here we have another questions. Okay, so maybe I answer this last question from David. Is it better to get a link from the same niche website but traffic is very low and page is little bit old, or new website with updates but content is more general? Um, that's quite tricky questions, but I would say you kind of want to have both. Uh, I mean, for safety, I would go with the niche website, the same niche website. That would be for safety and also for more relevant signals. But maybe, going moving forward, I might go with the. Okay, so you're asking or new website with updates, but the content's more general. So if it's a new website, and if it is a general type of website, then I would obviously try to avoid it for sure. But if it is a general website, but it has lots of traffic and lots of authority signals, then yeah, I mean, I would definitely love to get featured on some of those websites. But obviously, not every time. I mean, from time to time. But starting out, or the maximum links that I would like to have in my profile is to kind of get links from the same niche. So that is probably my choice. But obviously, getting links from general type site from time to time with good traffic, good authority signals definitely is not bad either. But if it's a new general type website, I wouldn't go for it for sure. So yep, that I hope that answers your questions. So yeah, that's the end for the live shows, and thank you everyone for joining. Skillup says enjoy the day night. You too enjoy your day, or I think it is your night for sure. It's night here as well, and it's night for you. David says thank you. You're welcome, David. All right, so I hope to end the live stream now, and hope you guys have a nice day or not. Hope you guys have the best day or night, and happy with your and good luck with your rankings.